what it is, bro. They starting, I don't know, YouTube starting to get on my nerves, bro.
Staple of so many religions. There's so many religions that talk about the
Restricting
afterlife. I
videos,
mean,
like I
I
can't
get
watch
that you would want
other
to come up with
videos.
something
Like
like
what
that
the
just
fuck?
because you wanted to have some sort of, if it's to live is to suffer. No, there's something waiting for you when it's over. And this is like, that's the carrot at the end of the stick. So a lot of people think, well, I'm too smart for that fucking carrot. Like, no, 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 no. Life is suffering. Life is pointless. And
It goes black
so
one day.
it's like what Bourdain did to himself. It's like there's like this romantic notion that some people have that to end this depressing thinking is like to just to do it, just to end your own life is the best way to just get through this. But they don't know. They don't know. Like, you don't know that you just go black. You have no idea.
They don't
And to
know.
say that is so foolish. Just to think of the fucking complexity of the universe itself. Just the vast scope of it. And now with this James Webb telescope, they're starting to like look at galaxies that don't even make sense. Like, how is this galaxy so formed and it's so far away? Like, is the universe older than we think it is? Like, there's all this new speculation now because of new data. To think that you know what happens to you when you die is dumb. It's dumb. You don't. You
right.
cannot know.
This
And
I
to be
thought this was going to give me a
closed-minded.
panic attack. Now I'm feeling better about myself.
Yeah, I don't think it ends.
I don't think it ends either.
I just don't think it ever ends. I think the real fear is not that it doesn't end. The real fear is that it never ends. The real, like, imagine if you have to live your life over and over
just
and over
fucking-
and over and over and over and over and over and over again forever. Could you do it? Doesn't that a freak out? Isn't it interesting? Listen to this.
Okay.
Last night,
Yeah.
didn't we have a great time?
I had a blast.
Hadn't seen you in forever.
It was a really
We
great.
hug, dude, what's up? Have a couple of cocktails. And for me, I'm a manager of a club now. I'm like walking around. I didn't even perform.
Get to
I
hang
just
out.
got to hang out.
Get to hang out in Mitzi's room and have a
Oh,
real
we
talk
went to
for like
have a
fucking
nice
30
dinner.
Oh.
When you want to do that forever and ever
Yep.
and ever and
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
But can you?
Yep.
This is the thought. Like, for some people, that makes them freak out. This idea that you would live your life, the life that you have right now, forever, and you would just keep going back and doing it all again until you get it right.
I would love.
Theory that many people have is that death opens up a chemical gateway in the mind, and that chemical gateway takes whatever the soul is, whatever consciousness is, and transports it into this new realm. It's been a staple of so many religions. There's so many religions that talk about the afterlife. I mean, I get that you would want to come up with something like that just because you want.
We gotta be sneaky.
No, 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 no. Why? Oh my god, they finna copyright my fucking thing, man. Ah, why did they play that, bro? It ain't even their fault, man. It's YouTube fault, bro. It's like, damn, I can't play anything. In my description, I say that I don't own any rights to music. I don't own any rights to any music. I don't own any rights to any content, bro. This is all me just watching YouTube, regular videos. I'm watching your videos, YouTube. It's not like I'm on a whole nother website watching something that's X-rated or something. I'm on YouTube watching YouTube. Like, why are y'all keep restricting my videos, bro? I know a little music play, but man. I can't even watch football highlights. Like, I can't even watch football highlights.
This is 6 million years of human evolution in just 40 seconds. So here you'll see the earliest hominids like southern apes and other primates we shared ancestors with about 5 million years ago. So in the grand scheme of things, that's actually pretty recent. Humans started to shed some body hair and develop more modern characteristics with the evolution to Homo habilis. From here, humans evolved into Homo erectus, which are starting to look distinctly more human. Neanderthals were around about 100,000 years ago, so this is the penultimate stage of human evolution. And then we end it with our final evolution to Homo sapiens, which every single person watching this video looks like. Pretty cool, right? This is 6 million years of human evolution in just 40 seconds. So here you'll see the earliest hominids like southern... This is 6 million years of human
Everything got music and dancing. Like,
Hi, I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, your host. And recreate the origins of it all. But the parts didn't seem to fit together until now.
We were the guys who stood.
And even how they can be erased.
You can wipe out who you are, and that's an alarming thing.
All that and more on this episode of Nova Science Now.
Are you sick of having issues with your webinars, wasting tons of time on troubleshooting with attendees? If so, you need StreamYard On Air. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce the launch of StreamYard On Air. StreamYard On Air.
What's the impact you want to have on the world?
My impact would be people own base of said so, then I failed.
Well, welcome back to Piers Morgan Says. I am very excited now. I don't get excited by too many guests, but I've always wanted to sit down with this guy because he's one of the, well, he's probably the #1 astrophysicist in the world, a rock star of space. In fact, even as we've been sitting here, he's been telling me what's on my own screen behind me, because to me it looks like just a big maze, but he knows. And he is Neil deGrasse Tyson. Thank you for coming. You happen to be in the country.
I just happen to be in the
And we happen to lure you to my studio, and I'm so happy about it.
just happen to be in the hood, as we say. Yeah.
Before we go any further, what is this thing behind we put here for you?
Okay, so this is, these stars that are coming through, that's just special effects. But in the background is an actual image of the Milky Way galaxy.
Really?
And coming up right now is the galactic center behind us. And the center there it lurks a supermassive black hole, dining on any stars that wander too close.
Now look, you have a gigantically large brain for this kind of stuff, right? You accept that?
It's the same size as everybody else's brain. I just prioritize what I care about differently from others.
Well, I think what you're brilliant to do, you got this terrific book, which we'll come to in a moment, but you're brilliantly crystallizing the really important questions in life. One of which is, how long have we got here?
Yeah, well, there are some ideas about that because we still don't know enough about the forces that will end it all. Oh, sorry. We might have 100 years on Earth.
What?
At the rate we're going.
Really?
No, sorry. There's Earth issues that require geopolitical solutions.
Self-harm.
Okay, correct. And then there's the universe, the death of the sun, the collision of the Milky Way galaxy with the Andromeda galaxy, and possibly the Big Rip.
How would the sun die?
Oh, sun, like any star, it will run out of fuel in its core, and it starts changing. It starts bloating and getting so large that it will engulf the orbit of Mercury and Venus and come very close to Earth. So imagine looking on the horizon and sunrise is half the sky. Okay, that would be terrifying.
Is this even starting to happen?
No, not yet. No, we have another several billion years. So don't, if you're going to prioritize,
Well, that's all right. That's a dropped intro, isn't it?
if you're going to
Could have said that to start with.
what you're worried about, yeah, let that one go. All right. But there's another one, the big rip, that if the expansion of the universe accelerates at a continued rate and it goes unchecked, the universe will be expanding in 22 billion years. It'll be expanding faster than the fabric of space-time can keep up with it. And it'll just rip. And I'm terrified by this.
For 22 billion years. Why are you terrified? You're not going to be here.
I'm terrified.
Nobody you know is going to be here.
I just, it's okay to be scared of things that you won't
Can we
witness.
stop it happening, the big rip?
We can't stop climate change, apparently. Are you worried about the big rip? We're going to stop the big rip of the universe?
The big rip would be it.
We're pretty incompetent on so many levels. I would not hold that whole high hope for
What about
stopping
another
that.
threat to civilization here? I had the last interview with Professor Stephen Hawking, which was a memorable experience up at his study in Cambridge University. And I asked him about the threat from AI, artificial intelligence. This is what he said.
Oh, sure.
Is artificial intelligence going to be the end of us? And if it's not, how do we best work with it?
There is a greater danger from artificial intelligence if we allow it to become self-designing, for then it can improve itself rapidly, and we may lose control.
Zupu contains the perfect dosages of all natural ingredients that'll get things moving and flush out that extra waste you're carrying around. You'll feel great when it's gone.
Now, I'm reading more and more about the potential for AI to self-design. Is it going to happen, do you think?
There's no reason to think that that won't happen. The question is, what minute will that occur? Because the moment it becomes self-aware and it can learn on its own, it will learn exponentially.
What did he mean, Professor Hawking, by self-design?
Well, just consider, how long do you go to school to learn how to read, write, and do arithmetic? Or lately, it just looks like people just read or write, but no arithmetic. How long does that? You're in school for years and years and years. A computer that is self-aware and has access to all the knowledge of the internet, it can build on whatever foundation it had in the previous moment to accelerate that learning. So it can acquire all knowledge and all wisdom in a matter of minutes.
But are we empowering this? Should we stop? Should we hit the buffers on this?
There are people, experts, who definitely feel that way. I'm not as apocalyptic about it. I think AI is not, we're not going to build the one machine that controls everything. But right now, if you had told someone 20 years ago, I drive a car that can steer itself and tell me where grandma's house is to avoid traffic in real time, they would say, that's AI. Okay? In the days of the Jetsons, they imagined robots as humanoid objects walking around doing tasks. They weren't thinking that the car was the robot, that the telescope was the robot, that your coffee machine is the robot. They weren't thinking that. They had a robot operate the coffee machine, right? The robot drove your car. So if we infuse AI in all the areas of our lives that serve our needs, then I don't see AI becoming centralized in a way that then takes over.
Some people think that Elon Musk is AI. you know Elon.
I'm not authorized.
You knew him when he's only worth 100 billion.
Yeah, I knew him when. He had a great line. He says, you know how to make a small fortune in space? Start with a big fortune. That was a good line. But now he made a big fortune.
I mean, he's doing lots of very interesting things in space. But one of the issues up there is that the space is getting quite cluttered with stuff, including Elon's. I mean, what's the answer to this?
Yeah, it's not clear. And just today, one of the reasons why I'm in London is to attend a space sustainability summit. Look at those two words together, space sustainability. We see these trails of satellites going across the sky. They call them constellations of satellites, and that pisses me off. Because a constellation of stars that don't move across your sky. They took our word and naming their satellites after this. So there are thousands of satellites in the sky, creating these streaks.
And how dangerous is that?
Well, first, it's ugly to those who want to just bask in the majesty of the night sky. Plus, it makes further space commerce hard because space gets crowded. And some satellites have been actively destroyed. Right? China did it first, we did it second, Russia did it third. And okay, I didn't destroy your satellite, I destroyed one of my own. but you saw it. Okay.
Have you been to space?
No.
Would you like to?
Okay, so you know the folks like
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, all these guys. So
William Shatner.
So if this is a schoolroom globe, you know how high up they went? The thickness of 2 dimes.
They're nothing.
I'm an astrophysicist. You're going to say that's bad? I'm not.
Where do you want to go?
Look, go to Moon, Mars, beyond. Give me a destination that's not boldly going where hundreds have gone before. That's not a...
Professor Hawking told me if he knew he had his last day on Earth, it was all about to end, AI or otherwise, he said he would want to be with his family, playing Wagner and drinking champagne. What would you do?
Wow. Okay.
If literally, I said to you right now, all right, you're right. The world is about to end and it's happening in 6 hours. What are you going to do?
I would say, what can I do with my intellect and those of others to prevent the world from ending in 6 hours?
Right, but assuming you couldn't do anything.
No, I don't assume that. No, excuse me. Okay, you have these photos of people escaping cities that are about to be leveled by a hurricane.
Yes. What are you going to do?
And no one is saying, why don't we tap the cyclonic energy of the hurricane, use that energy to drive the power needs of the city, and then the hurricane goes away. You know who thinks that way? STEM professionals, science, technology, engineering, and math.
Professor Hawking, he had this obsession about working out what the black hole was, right? What is your obsession? What's your weird thing you would love to crack that's never been solved?
I want to know, our equations tell us that if you go into a black hole, the time works out so that the future history of the universe you just came from plays out to infinity, and another space-time opens up in front of you. So I want a mapping of all the new space-times that the black holes are providing.
So you're all basically obsessed with the same thing, black holes.
Well, who wouldn't be?
I mean, find them a little bit black.
We're obsessed with black holes the way kids are obsessed with T-Rex.
Yeah.
Every kid knows a T-Rex, right?
Yeah.
I think it's because it's a threat that it can eat you, that has earned its respect.
Neil, this book, Welcome to the Universe, absolutely fantastically fascinating.
Thank you.
You are a remarkably fascinating
This image
guy.
is like the original textbook that spawned a series of books.
Yeah.
This latest one is the universe in 3D.
Right.
There are glasses that are part of it, and the objects in the universe pop, and they transform from just a picture of a planet to a world as a planet. We even show the constellations, and you realize constellations are spread in 3 dimensions. It's not just.
I could talk to you for hours. Sadly, we run out of time.
The universe is big.
It is, and what a pleasure. Please come back again next time you're here.
You got it.
We'd love to have you back. Great to finally talk to you properly.
Please don't copyright. I don't own that music. Please don't copyright.
Now, Professor Hawking, in the very last paragraph of your book, you say that if we discover a complete theory of the universe, then it should in time be understandable in broad principle to everyone and not just to a few scientists. And when that happens, all of us will be able to start discussing the why rather than the how. And I quote, "If we find the answer to that, it would be the ultimate triumph of human reason, for then we would know the mind of God." Do you think that God can intervene in the universe as he wants, or is God too bound by the laws of science?
The question of whether God is bound by the laws of science is a bit like the question, can God make a stone that is so heavy that he cannot lift it? I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in. All our observations suggest that it operates according to well-defined laws. These laws may have been ordained by God, but it seems that he does not intervene in the universe to break the laws, at least, not once he had set the universe going.
Do you believe in God?
Me?
A creator?
Yeah, so the more I look at the universe, just the less convinced I am that there is something benevolent going on. So if your concept of a creator is someone who's all powerful and all good, that's not an uncommon pairing of powers that you might ascribe to a creator. All powerful and all good. And I look at disasters that afflict Earth and life on Earth. Volcanoes, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, disease, pestilence, congenital birth defects. You look at this list of ways that life is made miserable on Earth by natural causes. And I just ask, how do you deal with that? So philosophers rose up and said, if there is a God, God is either not all powerful or not all good. I have no problems if, as we probe the origins of things, we bump up into the bearded man. If that shows up, we're good to go. Okay? Not a problem. There's just no evidence of it. And this is why religions are called faiths, collectively. Because you believe something in the absence of evidence. That's what it is. That's why it's called faith. Otherwise, we would call all religions evidence. But we don't, for exactly that reason. So I'm given what everyone describes to be the properties that would be expressed by an all-powerful being in the gods that they worship. I look for that in the universe and I don't find it. So I remain unconvinced. But if you've got some good evidence, bring it, bring it, okay? And so I don't lead with that information because what I believe should be irrelevant to anyone. It's not about me. It's about the real world.
He's trying to safely answer that question without defending people who really believe in religion. But give him a couple beers with no cameras, I'm pretty sure that his answer will be a little bit harsher.
Well, I think the distribution of information has changed so radically over the last couple hundred years, and particularly over the last 20, that you're seeing these trends now where more people are inclined
you like the stream
to
too, man. I really appreciate it.
abandon a lot of the, even if you remain religious or you keep a thought or a belief in a higher power, people are more inclined to entertain these concepts of science and to take in the understanding of what has been observed and documented and written about among scholars and academics. And there's more people accepting that. If you look at the number of agnostic people now as opposed to 20, 30 years ago, it's rising, it's changing. And I think there's also, because of you and because of Neil deGrasse Tyson and Sean Carroll and all these other people that are public intellectuals that are discussing this kind of stuff, people like myself have a far greater understanding of this than I think people did 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And that trend is continuing, I think, in a very good direction.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, what we should say is that science, we don't know all the answers. So we don't know where the laws of nature came from. We don't know why the universe began in the way that it did, if indeed it had a beginning. So we don't know why the Big Bang was very, very highly ordered, which is ultimately, as Sean Carroll, actually, you mentioned him, often points out, and he's right, that the whole difference, the only difference between the past and the future, the so-called arrow of time, is that in the past the universe was really ordered, and it's getting more disordered, and that's that necessary state of order at the start of the universe, which is really the reason that we exist. That's the reason, because the universe began in a particular form. We don't know why that was, so we will probably find out at some point, and it'll be something to do with the laws of nature. But so I'm always careful. I don't want to. Science can sometimes sound arrogant, right? It can sometimes sound like it's the discipline of saying to people, well, you're not right.
Yes, yes.
And it's not the discipline of saying you're not right. It's saying this is what we found out.
Yeah.
So I like to say that it provides a framework within which, if you want to philosophize or you want to do theology or you want to ask these deep questions about why we're here, you have to operate within that framework, because it's just an observational framework.
Yes.
So everything we've said is stuff we've discovered. It's not stuff that someone made up, right? We understand nuclear physics. We can build nuclear reactors, for example. So we understand the physics of stars. So we understand that the stars built the carbon and oxygen, and we know how they did it. We can see it, because as I said before, if you look far out into the universe, you're looking way back in time. And as you look back in time, you see less carbon and less oxygen. So we have a direct observation that in the earliest universe, there wasn't any, because we can see it. And now we see that there is some, and we know how it was made. So I think it's important to be humble when you're talking about science. And you're not saying this is the way that it is. I mean, you are in a sense, but it's not able to answer ultimate questions at the moment. It's not able to answer even whether the universe had a beginning or not. We don't even know that. And I gave a talk to I was asked to give a talk to some bishops in the UK about cosmology, and I said, yeah, that'll be great fun. And so I went and gave him this talk, and at the end I said, I've got some questions. So if the universe is eternal, and it might not have had a beginning, if it's eternal, what place is there for a creator? That's a good question.
Right.
They didn't have an answer, of course, right?
An eternal creator.
But I think that
I think
it might be eternal, and we might discover that. So we don't know at the moment, but we might. So I think my point is that these other